I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about raising bunnies. Now, we do not harvest our bunnies, which some relatives do that. We do not. We utilize their manure to make beautiful compost to grow a garden. And so I've had bunnies most of my life. And I wanted to talk about raising bunnies and what does that look like. They are easy to take care of, but there are some tips that you need to know about raising bunnies. Well, there's that. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about is with raising bunnies, you need to keep them cool. They do not like warm temperatures. They like to be cool. Other things are, we always give them all kinds of sticks. They love to munch on sticks. It's good for them. There they are over there. It is really good for them. It keeps their teeth. They need to be gnawing at things to keep their teeth at bay. Also, their claws, we let them run all over, and so they maintain their own health that way. We do trim sometimes, but all in all, they take care of themselves. They do like to be cool, like I said. You can put them in your basement when it gets really hot if you do keep them outside, or in your garage. That's really nice to do. When they are mating, which happens a lot, everybody knows the story about bunnies, but sorry, the sun was getting into my eyes. But when they are mating, they circle around. The male will circle around the female, and then she'll kind of circle as well. And then he will try to mount her. And usually, well, from what I've seen most of my life, is that she will run. That only works for so long. And then it's very funny because when he is mounting her, he shakes almost, to me when I was younger, it looked like he was having a seizure. And then he kind of does this wild jerk, and then he falls off. And then after that, after some time, she will start circling, and she will start digging a hole to have her babies if she's outside. We have primarily, when I was younger, we had bunnies inside, but primarily now we keep bunnies outside, and she will start digging her hole. She will birth in the hole, and then in our case, our male tends to the bunnies after that, which was really funny. When she would go eat and nourish herself, he would go sit over there, and we didn't understand, like, he wasn't eating for a while, and it was because he was tending to the bunnies, the babies. And she would be, nurturing herself and doing her thing, and he was very still. And the first time I was like, what is he doing over in that corner? He's not doing what he normally does. He's very curious and happy and playful, and he was just very still and very dedicated to his fatherly duties. And so that was really awesome to watch. And then, a while after, my son and his person noticed that there was babies in there, and yeah, that was one of the first rounds of babies, and so that was so cute. And yeah, now we have a couple different, you've seen in previous videos that there's we have 2 bunny hutches now. So like I said, we have space, and we have relatives that have farms, and so it's really a beautiful thing to be able to gift their manure and mix their manure with the chickens. I'm right by the chickens out back, and so it's really a beautiful gift, and to teach my children how to harvest bunny manure and chicken manure. And I don't know if harvest is the right word, but it feels like a harvest to me because it feels bountiful and plentiful, and it feels like that reciprocation and that circle, that sacred circle that works throughout our life. And we see that circle all over the place. We see that circle in growing seasons, and how Mother Earth tends to us as humans, and tends to the plant nation and the winged ones and the four-legged. That circle is always here, and I think that's a great way to raise your children. My children were raised like that, and they just are so close. They have such a close connection to animals and plant life and the water, and yeah. So actually one of my sons is calling right now, so I gotta go. Bye. Okay, one little more tidbit that I wanted to share with everyone, but I didn't get a chance to because my son was calling, is that you don't want to, people get bunnies and they're like, oh, I can't wait to feed them strawberries and all these vegetables. You don't want to overwhelm your bunny with a lot of fruits and vegetables that are high in sugar, because that will affect your bunny's health. And so be mindful of that. The beautiful thing about bunnies is they are quiet. They are easy to tend to. I have a friend that actually keeps a bunny wild in her house. Wild, like it can run around in her house, and she just keeps the door to his space open, and he goes in there and uses the restroom in his space and then goes back out and plays all over the house. So that is one cool thing about bunnies, that they are quiet. I do feel like they're really easy to tend to. They can be messy if you don't know how to tend to them in the right way, but they're phenomenal relatives for us to have as pets, quote unquote, or however you look at your animals, as relatives or pets, or however that looks for you. But be mindful of what you do feed them. You know, there's all kinds of pellets. There's all kinds of brands of pellet food that you can feed them. You don't want to overdo it with the sugars. I know young people, you know, our young ones want to watch their bunny eat all kinds of vegetables and fruits, and that is okay. Time to time, you have to keep a healthy balance with that. But I will show other videos on how we combined our manures and how that process looks for composting and what the temperature your compost should be at, so there's no pathogens that get into your family's food. I will do all kinds of videos on that, and if you want to learn how to do that, you can watch the videos. This channel was primarily made for me to watch back, and then the lineage of my family, to see how I grew food for our family and how our home and garden kind of started. It's really important to me to keep that record. And so I don't mind everybody else watching, but it was primarily made for our family because I am a girl who was raised by her grandmother, and these stories are important to me, and I'm a storyteller by nature. It's what I do for a living, and I love the gift of storytelling. It is truly a gift to be able to hear your elders speak to your heart, because there will be a day that you no longer hear their voice, but you will hear their voice within your own heart. So all that to say, keep growing, be inspired to grow. We are creators by nature. So that is your job. That is your duty. That is your responsibility, to grow and to harvest and to bring beauty into this life you have, right? Yeah, that's you. That's me. That's us. So see you, friends.